Hey friends, today we actually are taking a look at a laptop that, for all intents and purposes, puts the MacBook Air to shame, as well as other Windows laptops. It is actually an incredibly remarkable device. I'm excited that I got to check it out, and we're gonna talk a lot more about it after I tell you about today's video sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Hostinger. My friends, Hostinger allows you to host a whole sweeping slew of different things on the internet, whether that be a virtual private server, whether that be a WordPress website, or a merch shop, a personal portfolio, or heck, even a Minecraft gaming server in case you want to get that done for your friends. They have fast load times, they're always on 24/7 customer support, and they have easy navigation that allows you to unleash the power of the internet to everybody through your web hosting. Fast, reliable hosting for cloud hosting, email hosting, anything that you want, it's there. So you can check out the link in the video description. Go to hostinger.com/UFDtech. If you use coupon code UFDtech, you can get up to 91% off of your yearly web hosting plans. Use Hostinger, succeed faster. All right, my friends, what I have here is known as the Wootbook Metal MX250. Or more specifically, if you're buying it anywhere else in the world besides South Africa, it is the Tongfang PF4WN2F. This is a laptop that was unveiled at Computex under behind closed doors, not necessarily brought out to the public, but what it has destroys everything about the MacBook Air as well as other small form factor laptops because of just everything that Tongfang has done to make this thing. And coming in at a price that is remarkably inexpensive. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this laptop. It's a 14-inch laptop with a 1080p display. It's got IPS, it's a matte finish on the screen itself, 72% NTSC color, which makes it pretty decent for video editing, anything that you want to do, portable stuff like that. But in order to get that done, you need specs. Well, let's take a look at the specs. It has an i5-8265U, which is a 4-core, 8-thread processor, and has one slot for RAM, with my configuration coming in at a full 16 gigabytes. But it doesn't just stop there. You also have two M.2 slots in the laptop for up to 4 terabytes of NVMe storage, as well as a dedicated graphics card. Yes, my friends, this thing has an MX250 dedicated GPU inside of it. And for the CPU, in case you don't want the i5, you can bump it up to the i7-8655U, which is also 4 cores and 8 threads, but has better clock speeds. So all of that is fantastic. All of that puts the MacBook Air to shame. It has 2 cores, 4 threads, no discrete graphics, and it is actually bigger and heavier than this 14-inch laptop. Yes, my friends, because Tongfang has decided to make this thing out of a magnesium alloy chassis, which has it weighing in at 1.1 kilograms or 2.42 pounds versus the MacBook Air's 1.265 kilograms or 2.78 pounds made out of the recycled aluminum that Apple uses for their device. And this is actually something that was super surprising to me because when I first got the Wootbook Metal, I thought it was made of plastic because of how light it was. It actually had no structural issues. It's super sturdy all around, but it felt so light that I was convinced it was made out of plastic. And because of how Tongfang has decided to implement the display with minimized bezels on every side, it's actually really remarkably close to the 13.3-inch MacBook Air over here, coming in at 12.5 inches by 8.4 inches by 0.669 inches high. Nice. So overall dimensions are great. Obviously the performance of this thing is remarkably better than the MacBook Air. There's only an integrated GPU on this thing. It's a giant Apple piece of crap with no dedicated GPU. And so the MX250 definitely helps the Wootbook Metal come in with okay performance. It's great for every esports title. PUBG and Fortnite ran perfectly fine. AAA titles, if you're running them at 720p lowest settings, you're gonna average between 30 and 60 FPS depending on the game. Newer titles like Borderlands 3, which we checked out, was a little rough, but that's what you get with the MX250. It's the lowest end discrete GPU, but it's better than what the integrated Intel is. Then also for creativity stuff like Photoshop and Premiere Pro, you actually get GPU acceleration that's better than the Intel crap. You actually can use CUDA acceleration on the MX250. And this thing stays whisper quiet. 50 decibels average, which is barely above our room ambient noise, and then 55 decibels was the highest measured noise while I was running fan full load, playing games for over 30 minutes. Fantastic. And then on top of that, you have ports. not just two USB Type-Cs Thunderbolt. The Wootbook Metal does not have any Thunderbolt. It does have two USB 3.1 Type-A ports, a Type-C port, an extra USB 2.0 port, an HDMI 1.4 port, an Ethernet, and an audio mic combo port, which you want that, you have to get this little dongle for the freaking MacBook in order to get that. The only thing that this dongle has that this Wootbook doesn't is an SD card reader. That's probably the only thing that makes it not a great portable productivity thing, is that you can't actually get SD card. You'll have to get an adapter for that. Keyboard wise, you don't have to deal with the horrendous butterfly key switches that are on the MacBook Air that are going to be prone to break. They're actually just normal chiclet keys. They type fine. They're not that satisfying, but chiclet keys never are. And they type a little loud when I'm going ham on the keyboard, but overall it's pretty decent. The white backlight is great. Make sure that you can see everything even at night. The touchpad is fine. It's a normal touchpad. It's not as smooth as what you get on the MacBook Air, but it does the job for what you would need. But then let's talk about battery life, because that's one thing that Apple has done phenomenally, and it's also something that Tongfang has done phenomenally as well. In high performance mode, so I didn't crank anything down, high performance mode, I was able to get 5 to 6 hours of actual use on this Tongfang MX250. When I put it in battery saver and I decided to just, browse the internet and not do a whole lot with it, I could get up to 10 hours on battery saver mode. Tongfang quotes 11, wasn't exactly able to hit that. Screen-wise, this is probably one area where the Tongfang loses. It does have great specs, 1080p. The display is perfectly bright. The matte covering on the screen makes it so that you can use it even in direct sunlight. It works really well. The color accuracy is perfectly fine for just normal video editing. Probably not professional grade, but definitely YouTube grade like we do here. The only issue is that the MacBook Air has a 2560 by 1600 resolution. The biggest downfall of the Tongfang notebook is the speakers. They are just pretty not okay, and especially because they're downfiring here on the bottom. In order for me to listen to things at night while I'm in bed, I actually have to prop them up with like a case or something in order to get them lifted off the bed so that they're not firing down, so that I can actually hear what I'm listening to. The MacBook Air has great speakers. Like, these are freaking phenomenal on a 13.3 inch device. But while the underside may have weak speakers, it actually has pretty decent cooling. You see that at the bottom it has this grill that allows it to intake for air to breathe fine. And when we were testing everything for video game rendering, for video games, we got 86 degrees on the GPU and CPU at the highest, and we averaged right around 75 degrees on everything, which is worlds better than the MacBook Air, which thermal throttles all the freaking time, because that's part of the design of what Apple's done. They want to make sure that you're hitting that temperature and coming on down. Woohoo! In case you don't know what we're talking about, we actually did a test where we put this thing on ice to get the best performance out of it. You can check that out in that video right in the top hand corner. And then let's go ahead and talk about price. So for the configuration that we have of the Tongfang notebook, 16 gigs of RAM, a 500 gigabyte NVMe storage drive, which does 2.4 gigabytes read and 2.3 gigabytes per second write speed, whereas the MacBook Air only does 1.8 gigabytes per second read and around 500 to 600 megabytes write. Pretty pathetic. So for that configuration, this Wootbook comes in here in South Africa at 10,637 Rand, or $745. The same configuration MacBook Air is $1,699. $1,000 price difference between the two. And all you're giving up is a higher resolution screen and speaker quality. I could buy a decent set of studio monitors for $100 and have $900 left over. It is phenomenal. The price of this Wootbook here in South Africa is by far the best value that you can get on a laptop anywhere in this entire freaking country. Elsewhere in the world, because it is a newer laptop, it hasn't really rolled out to all regions. I've only been able to find it in Singapore and in the UK, both of which places don't have this exact configuration. They're rocking the i7 model, and it seems like they're in the $1,000 region for the same configuration. So price may vary per region, but here in South Africa, I can highly recommend this as the best laptop that you can get for basically everybody in the entire country. And in case you've noticed, I've been using this thing for hot news for the past month and a half that Wootware gave this to me for review. They allowed me to check it out, and it is my daily driver now. I actually had a gaming laptop with the GTX 1060, and I swapped it out so that I could use this exclusively, because the power to size ratio is phenomenal. And then the price is just so freaking good. I actually got two more once I saw how good this laptop was, and I bought it for friends and family so that they could use it. Honestly, I cannot recommend this Tongfang laptop enough. If you can get it for anywhere around $800 to $1,000 anywhere in the world. Absolutely can highly recommend. Build quality is fantastic. Everything about this is well constructed besides the speakers. But other than that, you cannot go wrong with this laptop. So big thanks to Wootware for sending it over to us. And just, this is probably gonna be one of the very last videos that we're doing in collaboration with Wootware because I'm leaving South Africa. So I just wanna say thank you to them for supporting us all of the years that we've been here, and it's meant a lot. And I'm glad that I could review an amazing device like this at the end of it. Anyways, let me know what you think of the Tongfang notebook. Are you considering picking one up now that it's been reviewed? Are you just gonna buy from Wootware and send a courier to pick it up so it can ship to the United States? Let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget about today's video sponsor. Hostinger, my friends, check them out in case you're trying to get a VPS, a cloud hosting server, a email hosting server, your WordPress server, your Minecraft server. Check out Hostinger, use coupon code UFDTech when you go to hostinger.com/UFDTech and you can save up to 91% off yearly web hosting with them. Do it, my friends. All right, with that being said, hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. I'm Brett. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.